Oh, shut up.
You can read the question. That's the easiest job.
Are some refugees more? Shut up, Philip. Are some refugees more deserving than others? I feel like in the last discussion, people kind of neglected to talk about how everyone's human, because like everyone, like if they're all coming from, if all of like refugees are coming from like the same place, or like the same like background or like climate, then it's kind of impossible to choose between them. Like it's not like you're picking between murderers, like they're people too. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people neglect to talk about when they talk about this.
Okay, so I agree with Keegan too, but then again, like where's the line at? Like where would you draw the line? Who would you let in and who would you not let in? Because like they're all similar circumstances, but then they're like different too,
Well, I think you can't decide unless you know like the whole story of what they've been through just to get to the border, or just to have a place where you can see a better life for yourself. When you just stand in front of a judge and they're depicting or breaking apart what you look like and sending you back because of what they think about you when they don't really know.
Remember, some of the people who are standing before the judge are like 7 years old, and they don't have a lawyer, and they don't have their parents. It's just a 7-year-old talking to a judge. So you're right. You know. Yeah.
Oh.
We're doing number 2, right?
Yeah. If you want me, I can ask you a question.
Alright, throw me a question.
Throw you a question. Okay. All right. In this, did the guy Enrique deserve to be given political asylum in the United States?
Does that mean freedom?
Yeah, freedom.
Oh, I think he should, because, I mean, like, when I was reading it, it said that, like, if he return back to the country, he'll be, like, killed and stuff like that, too. And he wanted to do it, like, to go look for his mom, too, because he hasn't seen her, and he wanted to, like, make it better for, like, his girlfriend and his daughter. And, yeah, I think he should get, like, the freedom there, too. Here, too.
So you would let him in?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Okay.
Si quieres me preguntas algo, no sé.
Okay. Te pregunto si tú hablas mucho con los estudiantes de la señora Arnett, ¿no? No tienes que mencionar nombres, pero ¿qué son los cuentos de cómo ellos llegaron aquí?
Digamos, es difícil de explicar, ¿me entiendes? Porque mucha gente puede que llegue necesitada de llegar a otro país, puede que mucha gente nada más venga aquí por oportunidades, ¿me entiendes? Eso depende mucho del tipo de persona. Es difícil también como juzgarlos a ellos, porque primero antes de juzgar uno tiene que ponerse en los zapatos de las demás personas, ¿me entiendes? Si alguien está...
Let me say pausa para ellos. I asked him, well, tell me some of the stories from some of the kids in the ESOL class here. They go, do you know him? He goes, yeah, I do. And then he starts explaining they all have different circumstances. He says, but one thing, to understand their stories, you really have to see it from their point of view, from their own shoes.
Sí, digamos, también usted no sabe lo que ellos han pasado en la vida, ¿me entienden? Muchas veces uno va a juzgar a una persona y no sabe realmente lo que él ha pasado, lo que ha pasado, lo que va a pasar, ¿me entiende? Todo. You know,
Yeah, it's like it's really hard to make those judgments, you guys are saying, because you really don't know what they've been through. They've been through a lot. And so before you judge somebody, you really have to understand some of the things that they've gone through. Gracias, gracias. Nice catch.
off what Franco said because I agree with it quite a lot, actually. Because let's say somebody shot my mom. Let's just go with one of the hardest ones.
Okay.
If somebody was like, oh, I shot my mom, you have to physically think of what they went through and how traumatized they might be. Because, yeah, you've seen movies, you've seen that, but you don't have an emotional and personal connection with that person you just lost in your life. Especially someone who just grew up with you and taught you and brought you here. And so if you want to keep going, you have to, it's just hard because you have to put yourself in a different mindset to get rid of all those bad things. And then when you go up to speak to somebody who's judging you for who you are, what you've been through, and everything you have, because basically they're suggesting that the people who are going into the court, they are doing all they can to move off so what they're trying to leave behind, all the dangerous things and all the things that they have been through, they're trying to leave behind so they can start over, and that's what everybody basically wants. But the judge and everybody has to really take it from their point of view, and that's basically it.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
You want to get it? You sure? Okay. Oh, sorry, that's hard.
Man, you got a rocket for an arm. All right. Grace.
Can you just ask me a question?
Oh, do you want me to ask? Okay. No, I'll ask you an open-ended one. Okay. Before we started studying the issue of Enrique's journey, before we started showing any kind of videos and all that, how much did you know about what these refugees went through?
Well, I just kind of knew that it was all really hard for them. You can never really judge a book by its cover because even though, yes, they've been through so much, and you can't just say, oh yeah, you can't be here because you're not like from here. That's just not really. It's all not fair. So that's kind of what I know.
Oh, all right. No, very good. Very good. Okay. All right. We're still in that same category, right? But all right. So let me ask you a question, not about refugee situation. Let me ask you the immigrant side. Okay. All right. All right. I'm taking a chance here, but tell us about the part of Mexico you're from and what life is like there.
Well, I'm not actually.
Or your family. Your family
Yeah.
is what I meant. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I imagine the way you talk, and correct me if I'm wrong, do you still have aunts and uncles and cousins in Mexico?
Yeah, like 1,000 of them.
That's what I figured. Okay. The way you were talking, that's what I figured. Tell me where they live. What's it like?
Okay, well, my dad has telling me lots of things about when he was younger. He told me that he had been growing up like 2 years old, like cleaning us, like doing stuff in the farm. And he told me every single day he ate beans. I feel so bad for him, but every single day beans. And for my mom, she told me like they grew up, like mostly everybody grew up poor in Mexico. So I guess mostly everybody that was in Mexico was poor. So I mean, I think they had like a struggling life too. And I mean, now since like more people come over here, like my parents send them money. So now they're not like, so now that they're not like as poor as they used to be. And well, some of them still like are like really poor. I don't really know some of my aunts there, but like they have like 5, 6 kids there, and they have to like maintain their whole family, but with like little money. So they just like tell my parents so they can send them money. So yeah.
Is there enough? I imagine, does it make life harder for you when they're sending money over?
Yes, because I asked my mom if she could buy me some food. She says no, because she gotta send money to Mexico. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing too, but I mean like, it's like helping them so they don't be like that poor, like going without a day eating.
So if I hear you right, because I imagine it's like what you meant by food is like you probably like an extra something, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm making this up. Going to a restaurant and eating some nice food or some fancy food, and she's saying no, Because that money, that extra excess is going to feed people in Mexico for basic stuff. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then what you're saying is, the life of the immigrant, it means that somebody comes over here and they actually do a kind of sacrifice so that the people they left behind can survive.
Yeah, and my parents, well, my dad's sending money there to make a house there, just in case. Well, I'm not an immigrant, but like if they get deported, they're gonna go to Mexico. I'm gonna have to stay here by myself, no food, no. But they're building a house over there just in case they get deported. Yeah.
My job, Brenda, just in case, is get you to college, where you can make more money in college to support like 3 villages in Mexico. All right. So, all right. Not a bad question. Thank you for answering, honestly. All right.
No.
And this will be final comment.
Could you ask a question?
Yeah.
That's your final one?
Huh?
Well,
Yeah, we're at the 11:15 point right now.
Wait, but we haven't even
started the second question.
Third question.
Or the third.
All right, let me do this. I'm stopping.